If you say you are right, immediately you've lost the knowing. Because knowing does not know right or wrong. Knowing is. You see, for example, you see somebody who's arguing with you. Okay, let's say, you know. And they're convinced that they are right. Well, somehow in you, you know, without a fact, you know that you are right.
Right.
But if you fight it, if you fight with it and you say, no, 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 I'm right, okay, you've lost that accuracy of that knowing. But if you really know down deep inside that of course this is silly, right? You stop. You automatically stop. You stop arguing. When you know there is no need to prove anything.
But what if the person needs to hear something to make them...
That's not up to you. When you go into your knowing and your love, it automatically comes out of you because the love takes over. You're still thinking in terms of me doing it, you see, and this is good, and I'm glad you're asking these questions, because all the time we say, well, maybe we have to do this, maybe I should do this, maybe there are no shoulds in life, okay? All you have to remember is that love has to do it, my being. Okay, I keep surrendering to that which I am, and that takes over. And then you find yourself doing things spontaneously that are perfect. You don't even know you were doing them until after you've done them. This must have happened to us quite often. You see? Like somebody told me one time, they said, I'm doing work with hospice work, right, with the dying. And someone asked me, he says, well, what should I say? What should I do? You know, like when I'm with them, I get tongue-tied and all that. You see? And the question arises because you're thinking of you. But reverse it. That person who is dying is an extension of you. And if there is love, the thought of what you should say, what you should do, is redundant. Does not enter. And you might not say anything. Your silence will show through your eyes and give strength to that person. You see? So what I'm saying is, whenever we raise a personal question, what I should do, what I shouldn't do, whether it's right or whether it's wrong, this is all the personal still wanting to be in control. You see? And when you keep yourself quiet and let the Spirit work through you. So all the time, whenever you're not sure of anything, because the human is always asking questions, and questions have to be asked, because that's what growth is, you see? Until all questions stop. When all questions stop, you're in being. Because being has no questions, being is. So whenever you have any questions, you know, what am I really asking? Who's asking this? Why is it important? Go into these, explore them, and then you'll find that something in you already knows, you see? And let that knowing keep growing inside you until it takes over. And then you'll find eventually it will begin to take over.
Is it because you don't have any more questions that takes over, and you're giving,
no,
you're surrendering?
When you surrender, the questions become not that important anymore, you see? But you cannot pretend that they're not important, because a question will eat you up. You see, okay, some people say, I got depressed for no reason at all. I suffered anxiety, or I felt so tense, or I started to cry for no reason, or I got up in the morning feeling terrible. You know what these are? Questions that are not asked. What is wrong with me? Why am I suffering this? What's happening? See these questions? These are questions that haven't been asked. So when you ask them to yourself and understand them, and who's asking this question, you'll find that you begin to burn these questions. And incidentally, there's a booklet on the table, and I gave it a glossy cover because I would like everybody to have a copy. It's called The Inner Light Beckons. Please take one when you leave. Oh, and another thing too, everything that's on the table is free except the books, okay? So take whatever you want, okay? So where were we? Yeah. So whenever you let love, whenever you have any questions or any fear or anything at all, just stop for a moment and find out, what is this ego wanting, this human part of me? What is it that is asking? What is it that it wants? And then you'll find that whatever it wants is already in being. It's not out there. To stop and doing that. And this is how the questions will start to burn out. But you cannot pretend you have no questions. If there is unhappiness in you, if there is sadness in you, if there is any negativity in you at any moment, it means there are questions that are not being answered in you. You see? And that's why a satsang like this is important. To really explore whatever seems to eat at you. You see? And when you do, you begin to realize that the human in you is prodding you. It wants to go deeper.
What's eating at you is always you.
Of course.
You just have to say, so what?
Yeah. If you mean it, if you say so what and really mean it, then the questions will not bother you anymore. You see, the point is to be real though, because yeah, you can say so what, but do you really mean it? Okay? Because in truth, yeah, so what? You know, so what? The mind feeds you this, someone feeds you that belief. You know, people were talking against me. I wonder what they were saying. Who cares? You know, but we fill our heads with so much garbage. You know. Or what they think of me. Oh, how terrible. Who cares? You know. But you mean it. Like you would know, we mean it. What difference does it make? You are. Nobody can touch you. How can anybody touch you? They can only touch who you think you are. Not who you are cannot be touched. You're always at peace. You are a being. That's the I. That's the I am, you see?